Welcome home. I'm Dr.Thema, a minister, licensed psychologist, and sacred artist. And this is Homecoming, a podcast to facilitate your journey home to yourself. While I will provide weekly inspiration and mental health tips, this podcast is not the same as personalized therapy. I'm so excited you're on the journey. If you want to request specific topics or to submit a poem for me to read on the podcast, email me at homecomingpodcast@gmail.com. Also, to build our community, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Let's begin. Welcome home, co-journers. I'm glad you're here for another episode, and I'm grateful that we have a poem submission for this week. And this poem is from Folu. And Folu's poem is entitled, A Withdrawal Request. Give me time so I can spend it on what matters most, for the things in life that are free, yet cost me the currency of all my remaining inhibitions. Give me time to check my balances, to account for the things that ground me in myself, so that I can exchange with others without falling into the deficit of codependency. Give me time to learn who I am, to trade the ideas of scarcity imposed on me by this oppressive economy, so that the truth of abundance can enrich my soil for me to grow into all I am destined to be. Please, let me take all the time I need to hold love at the center of my life, because I don't want to live without it. I don't have time for anything else. Give me time. Yes, Folu, thank you so much for this piece and your sharing about reflecting on our priorities and the ways in which we utilize our time. A part of what Folu shares is the importance of us grounding ourselves, centering ourselves, stabilizing ourselves. And I want to talk with you on today about grounding and soothing yourself. So self-soothing practices, the ability to be able to calm yourself, nourish yourself, nurture yourself. Many of us are living in a perpetual state of stress and feeling overwhelmed. And it is in part the times that we are living in, and a part of it can be the ways in which we approach our lives, as well as all of our various roles and responsibilities. And as a result of living in that perpetually stressed state, because we are trying to do so much, we can be flooded by emotions and by thoughts. And when you're in that place of being stressed out and overwhelmed, you can start to live in a way that does not align with your purpose, your goals, your values, your identity, your idea about who you are and the way you want your life to be. And so the gift is there are ways that we can reconnect with the truth of who we are and where we can center ourselves in the present moment so that we are not continuously worried about the future, plotting out the future, strategizing the future, but instead can take the sacredness of this moment and come home to ourselves. And that is a gift. So as Folu said in the poem, us taking the time to care for ourselves, that is what is truly important, not just constantly being on the go. So there are different ways in which we can ground ourselves or soothe ourselves. And the first one is breath. And so I invite you to take breath at your own pace, inhaling in through the nose exhaling out through the mouth. And when we take pause and center in on our breath, then it slows us down. It brings us home to ourselves and to the present reality. It is also important as we think about grounding ourselves to consider your 5 senses. So to get reconnected to this present moment, I invite you wherever you are to look around your space and notice what you physically see. What colors are there? What images are there? What objects are there? Sometimes we can be in a space for a long time and we're not actually present. And so what do you see in that space? And then what do you hear? What are the sounds that are around you? They may be very quiet sounds like the clicking of a clock, the ticking of a clock, or they may be larger sounds if you have stuff playing in the background, and then of course also hearing the sound of my voice. And then begin to notice, are there any scents that you can pick up in the air? It may be the smell of a candle, your own perfume. If there is food cooking, what do you smell in the space that you're in? And then what do you taste? Maybe what was the last thing you ate, if you can still taste that. Or maybe as you're listening, you're drinking some tea and you can taste that. And then we pay attention to what do we feel in terms of touch. So not emotions, what do you feel, but what do you feel on your body? So you may feel your glasses on your face or your clothes against your body, your shoes on your feet if you have shoes on, your back up against the chair or the couch or whatever you may be sitting on or leaning on. So noting what you feel touching your body in this moment. And just that simple process of tuning into our senses can ground us in the present moment. So we have our breath, we have our senses, and then it is also important that I can ground myself with my wellness and self-care routine, right? So even if you were to wash your face or massage your face, by us touching and soothing ourselves or cleansing ourselves, that is a way to get into this present moment. Thinking about how has your sleep been, and are there ways that you can get more rest? Because our rest can help us to ground, can help us to center, can help us to calm ourselves, to calm our nervous system by resting. And then us thinking about, have you been taking time to eat? And I'm specifically saying taking time because some of us eat like it's a race. And that may be the way you grew up, life circumstances where everything was not only fast food, but eating it quickly. But for us to slow down and actually smell our food, taste our food, chew our food. I'd say even before that, choosing your food, right? Making a conscious decision of what am I going to give my body so that it can be revitalized, restored, energized, healed. That I want to heal and nourish my body by what I place in it. Yes? And so as simple as saying, on today, what I choose to eat, I want to actually slow down. I want to actually slow down and allow myself to be present for my meal. And if I'm eating with other people, to allow myself to be present with the people that are in my environment. Yes. So our mealtime can be a way of soothing ourselves and grounding ourselves. And then even stretching and reconnecting to our bodies can be another way of grounding and being present. So noticing your shoulders, noticing your back, reaching up and stretching in this moment, even as you're listening, if it aligns with you, to stretch or to curl over. These are various ways that we can center in, rolling our shoulders back, or even doing a neck roll from one side and then the other side, and hugging ourselves. Hugging ourselves can also be a way of being present. I'm choosing me in this moment. I'm choosing to show up for myself. Another way of grounding or soothing yourself is connecting with nature. And so going outside for a walk, sitting outside, getting the fresh air, allowing the sun to bless you, allowing yourself to be sun-kissed is a beautiful way of saying, I'm slowing down and choosing to take note of this present moment, the gift of the present. I may go sit under a tree. I may go and sit in the grass. And so paying attention to the ways in which I connect with nature to soothe myself. It also can be helpful to listen to music. So while there is music that can energize you and makes you want to get up and dance, I invite you to think about what is a musical artist or a song that you find soothing. It may even be a genre. What type of music do you find calming, soothing, centering? And so thinking about when was the last time I sat still, not playing music while I'm doing a million things, but allowed the music to wash over me, allowed myself to really be present and to take in the music in meaningful ways. Then it can be helpful when we consider our thinking, our mindset, to be intentional about avoiding catastrophizing. Now, what is catastrophizing? It is when I panic over smaller things and then either imagine that they're larger than they are or stress myself out that they could become larger than they are. And so not everything is drama worthy. Not everything is a disaster. Not everything is an emergency or a catastrophe. And so instead, I pay attention in this present moment to be able to put things in perspective. So that's one of the things our poet said on today, that love is what really matters. So to invite yourself to think about, what are the urgent things? What are the priorities for me? And then what are the things that perhaps I've given a lot of mental space to, that in the grand scheme of things is really not that deep, right? It is not worthy of it taking up so much of my thought space. It is not worthy of it keeping me up at night. It is not worthy of it being the center of every conversation, right? And so I shift to say, first things first, what is really important and what are the things that I have been centering, which are actually less central to my life. Yes. So I invite you, even as you think about that, if it aligns with you, to place one hand on your heart and take a cleansing breath as you consider what you would like to release, what you would like to recognize in this moment does not qualify for all of the attention it has been getting or taking in your life. Another piece which can ground us or center us back into the truth of who we are is reminding ourselves about our purpose. Sometimes we are busy, but it is not purposeful. And so I can center myself by thinking about not just what is important, but what I am here to do, here in life to do, or here in a position to do, or here in this family or on my job, or beyond those job or family, life purpose, meaning, right? What are the things that give meaning to my life? What are the things that when I am doing them, I feel like I am in flow with the truth of who I am and with my purpose? And so to reconnect with purposeful living can actually ground us and soothe us and keep us from being in that frantic race. Another piece which can be soothing is our connection with people. So in another episode, I talked about how people can be a source of co-regulation, that we calm each other, right? There are some people who take you off purpose, off focus, that they are a distraction or they derail. But there are other people, your inner circle of friends, perhaps your family, your loved one, your companion, that when you are in their presence, or even when you hear their voice, that it is calming to you. So even think in this moment about who that person or who those persons are. That if you see them, if you hear them, if you spend time in their presence, it helps you to feel nourished, calm, centered, more peaceful with them, right? That these are those with whom you feel accepted and seen, heard, appreciated. Yes? So those are some of our techniques when we think about soothing ourselves as we're also taking our breath. And it is important as we're thinking about soothing to also consider what are the activities that you may find soothing. Sometimes it is the sitting still or laying down, but there are also activities that can become for you like a ritual in some ways. And so some people actually enjoy washing dishes, the feeling of the water and just the process. For some people, it is gardening. For some people, it is knitting. For some people, it may be playing with a pet, right? Stroking your pet. For some people, it is doing their artwork, right? For others, it may be cooking. So what are the activities that bring you home to yourself, right? That may be just a small thing, but when you're doing it, this is the process by which you get centered in the moment and can free your mind, your heart, your nervous system in some very tangible ways. We also want to think about, as you are reflecting on being grounded, is allowing yourself to recognize what is within your control and what is outside of your control. Because many times we're stressing about things that we cannot do anything about, right? So we are worrying, it is consuming us, and that is actually outside of the circle of what you can manage, do, control, or shift, right? And of course, a big one in that category is other people. Many of us can get stressed out trying to control other people. And so a way of soothing myself is by reminding myself that other people are free to do what they are choosing to do, that other people are free to be who they choose to be. So it is not for me to control, to manipulate, to try to dictate other people's lives. Yes? And just by releasing that tendency or that pull within ourselves can allow us to actually present for our own lives, to allow us to actually be connected to what we need to work on for ourselves instead of monitoring and trying to control others. So it is also soothing for us to think about what are the activities that are a confidence boost for me, right? What are the things that you're good at? What are the things that are your strengths? And what are the things that when you're doing that, you say, this is me, right? Some things I'm open to exploring or trying, but it may not really feel like me. But there are certain activities that when I am doing those, I am clear, I am being myself, right? That is me all day. That's me up and down. That's me 100%. That is authentically me, right? And so we can feed our nervous system. We can calm our nervous system by engaging in activities that we are good at and activities that remind us of the truth of who we are, right? And then, of course, grounding and soothing ourselves with gratitude, So when I am stressed, I am usually thinking about all the things that are wrong, right? So I'm stressed because this isn't right, this isn't right, this isn't right. And so a way for me to calm myself, soothe myself, ground myself is to slow down and notice what's going right? So then I can have appreciation for these are the things in my life that are working. These are the things that are going in the direction that I was working toward or planning for, hoping for, praying for, because we often give so much attention to the things that are out of order, and we can take for granted the things, the circumstances, the situations, the opportunity, the relationships that are actually nourishing for us. And so I invite you even this week to think about journaling your gratitude, not just your worries. So it's fine to journal about the things that you're concerned about. Sometimes we can find solutions as we're writing, as we're journaling, but not just to write about the worries. Let's write about the gratitude. Then I want to say, to ground myself and to soothe myself, I will need to set boundaries, right? We are often running around and hectic because we're trying to do so much, and because some of us are unable to say no to people or to requests or to demands. And so to soothe myself and to ground myself in this present moment, I want to embrace the sacredness of no and think about what and who I need to say no to today, this week, in this season of my life. And for some of you, it needs to be some permanent no's, right? So by protecting my time and my space, my mental health and my peace, then I am grounded and I am soothing myself because I am honoring myself, right? To respect and honor myself, what are some boundaries I need to set? What are some limits I need to set? What are some things I need to shift out of so that I can really have my peace. And so when we engage in these activities, it can help us to honor time. And that's what our poem was about today. Taking the time for ourselves, for our peace, and for the things that are important. I invite your soul to tell your heart, mind, body, and spirit, welcome home.